Hallo. Jetzt machen wir das. Jetzt machen wir das nächste Ending. Oder die nächste Auswahl, die wir bekommen.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Ja. Vielleicht haben wir eine Memo vergessen. Aber nein. Wir gehen einfach woanders lang.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Nö. Nö.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Ja. The employee lounge.
Yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in. Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it.
Ja. Das ist schöne Gemälde und das sind schöne Möbel. It's worth it.
At this point, Stanley's obsession with this room bordered on creepy and reflected poorly on his overall personality.
Fuel.
It's possible that this is why everyone left.
Fifth meeting, revenue analysis. No girls.
Waiting for more dialogue. But when a long time had passed and there was no more, he decided that the game was trying to send him a message.
Recommendations from the Oversight Committee. Und sehe ich nicht, kann ich nie lesen. Words. Nix. Gar nix. Ich glaube, jetzt hat er alles gesagt. Außer ich warte jetzt noch. Soll ich noch ein bisschen? Ja, komm, wir warten noch ein bisschen. Vielleicht sagt er ja noch was. Ich glaube nicht. Gut, das waren alle.
But at last, he'd had enough of the amazing room and took the first open door on his left to get back to business.
Nee, wir gehen hier lang. Wir gehen erst hier lang.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here.
Ooh.
I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone
Gehen wir jetzt
else
erstes
is
hin.
difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
Ja.
Someone you've forgotten
Whoop.
about. What?
Nein.
Really?
Ich habe
And
niemanden
in the
vergessen.
middle of something, do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side.
Okay.
Give me a chance.
Okay. Dann proof doch. Dann proof. Cargo. Dann proof doch.
Now listen carefully, this
Oh,
is
no.
important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Wir gehen durch die blaue Tür. Wir gehen durch die blaue Tür.
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ja, das ist rot.
I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
Ja,
All
rot.
right, fine. Go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let
Will
me
ich.
stop you.
Hm.
You see? There's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it
Yeah.
worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin.
Er will ja jetzt, dass ich da lang gehe. Was ist, wenn ich jetzt einfach hier lang gehe? Okay.
Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here.
Ich sag bestimmt bei jeder Zahl was anderes, oder? Komm. Wir geben ihm eine 5 dafür.
Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley.
I
Don't
felt
even
it in my
try.
soul.
Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be
Oh.
perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
Okay. Okay. Nö, jetzt gehen wir einfach mal links lang. Ich lande auch wieder hier.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now
no.
would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting.
Okay.
You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you?
Nö,
Perfect.
das machen wir.
Let me
Komm.
boot it up.
Ja, hau mich da rein, du. Stanley, wir machen das.
In this game, the baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
Ja, okay. Nee, einmal noch. Jetzt reicht auch.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out. I'm out. I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Okay. Was spielen wir jetzt? Oh, Minecraft.
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At last, the one thing you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough? Well, I'll say this. I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here, no, here, and then. Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it.
Wow.
Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. Ah, but you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable.
Okay. Oh, gehen wir rein. Oh ne, wir warten noch ein bisschen draußen. Vielleicht hat er noch was zu sagen. Kann auch nichts machen. Okay, wir gehen rein.
Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes, yes, yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
What the fuck? What the fuck?
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
What the
Oh,
fuck?
no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear here. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one.
Hey there.
Okay, new game.
Was? Hey! Mann. War grad Spaß. Minecraft. Wow. Portal.
Yes! I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Hä? Achso. Ernsthaft?
Oh, it's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley.
What the fuck?
Your forte.
Na gut, ich hab Portal gespielt.
Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games. And I highly doubt you're any wiser for the
Oh. Huch. Oh. Okay, das geht auch weiter runter. Okay. Hä? Hä? What the fuck? Hä? Hä? Ich kann hier nichts machen. Muss ich irgendwas suchen? Okay.
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it.
Nee, ich bin nicht glücklich mit meiner Choice. The fuck?
He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion.
I don't enjoy that.
That's who I am. That is what I mean
Can we go
to
back
this
up?
world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
Kann ich laufen? Nee. Ich kann gar nichts machen. Ist einfach schwarz. Ah, jetzt. War das Ende? Schon? Oder... Hä?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
What? Was? Jetzt bin ich in einem anderen Büro. Hallo? Hab ich verlaufen?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Geh ich jetzt links lang? Nö.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes.
Hä?
This room. What a beautiful room. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Hä? Die Tür ist noch auf, ne? Ja. Nee, dann gehen wir jetzt auch einfach hier
And so
lang.
he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door,
Ja.
and got back on track.
Wir machen jetzt mal
Yet there was not a single person here
was
either.
er
Feeling a wave
meint,
of disbelief,
was wir machen.
Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his
Oder gehen wir
boss's
unten lang?
office.
Nee, komm. Hä? Nee, komm, wir gehen unten lang. Wir gehen jetzt einfach nochmal unten lang. Gucken, was da passiert, bis wir wieder in meinem Büro landen.
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss. Admitting he had left his post during work hours, he might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had
Das war doch noch kein
vanished.
Ending.
His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all. None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical starfield, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. Amora thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams. The truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life.
Schade.
Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want.
Ja.
I want my apartment and my wife and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be fine.
Ja, alles wird toll. Alles.
Okay.
I'm okay. Everything is fine. Ah, shit. Here we go again. Nothing is fine.
Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be real. I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
But passed out.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella.
What?
Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon
Stanley.
go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy. This much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day. The very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Then she turned and ran. Okay.